later than usual.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because they just dropped this episode on a Friday. Well, Saturday morning for me, but who cares?
Oh,
Happy days. Happy
yeah.
days. It's the Last of Us day.
It was such a happy day.
It was, shut up. Phew, compose yourself, it's fine. Hello, we are The Rest of Us, aka the weekly show about every episode of The Last of Us. We're fine.
Every time somebody says fine, I think of the quote from Italian Job. You know what fine stands for, right? Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Yes.
We are fine.
Let me introduce our wonderful Erika. It's just so
Hi.
beautiful.
Oh,
And myself, Lily. You might notice
someone's missing.
someone's missing. Who is it? It's Nick. Nick.
There was an issue with his provider. Disclaimer, once again, per a couple other episodes, we are recording this immediately after the episode airs. So any theories, Easter eggs, or things that come out that we may not talk about currently, sorry, we're recording this immediately afterwards, but we're really excited for the live chat because then we can throw in other things that we found and other things that the internet located that we didn't on a first watch. So we're excited to talk to you there and in the comments.
Again, no cold open. I will complain about this every time the episode comes out.
They got us used to cold opens and then just took it away from us.
I know. And I think for this one, the part that they did about how Henry and Sam got away and what happened before
Mhm.
Joel and Ellie get into Kansas City, I think they could have put that in front of the intro and
They probably could have.
serve it as the cold open, basically. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's still in there, so it's not a complaint. I'm just like, cold open, intro, get back into it.
No, you got that wrong. Cold open, intro, skip, then the episode.
Shut up. Shut up.
I found a clever way to call you out.
First, I don't know, was it like 5 minutes?
5-10 minutes
Five,
ish
10
of some
minutes.
good exposition.
Yeah, of how Harry and Sam basically got a jump on Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
It was brutal how they started it out.
Ooh, because in the games you never know really anything about their
No.
background, so they took some good creative liberty with this. My favorite creative liberty is Sam being deaf. It made so much stuff hit home, like real nice. There was an interview at one point. I think it was actually I think they put it in the after episode, where Neil's like, it's like so mad that he didn't think of having Sam as deaf in the video games because he thought it was such a brilliant idea.
I think how they did the whole rebellion part against Fedra and everything, eventually it's going to be the people who are bigger threat and whatnot. I think it shows here perfectly, like how humans just become kind of animals in a way.
The people are become like the villains, their most brutal selves.
Yeah, like the whole, just snippets of scenes of how they tortured the Fedra guys, how we finally get to see Sam and Harry and they are hiding away and there's this truck just pulling a guy after itself. There's this wonderful, so amazing, Melanie Linsky. Someone wrote, and I agree, like she's, the school teacher type of voice, like this very soft, very
pencil pusher, always has a notebook.
Yeah, exactly. And then she goes into this holding cell, starts to talk to people, and it's like, oh, no, she's not a nice lady.
It's like, that tone of voice is a lie.
It is a lie. It is a lie. And I think she does these transitions so well. Yeah. Of like, okay, I'm not gonna hurt you.
She's Australian, I think. That was a flawless American accent.
Oh yeah.
Like if I didn't look it up later, like after last week's episode, that was beautifully done.
She's a pro. I really like that whole, if you tell me where Henry is kind of stuff, I'm gonna hurt you. And immediately, like, it was a nice mirror of how they work with Fedra as well. These
Yep.
rats, basically, as soon as she says, okay, kill them all, someone like, oh,
You threatened my life. Oh, you need information that I have? And she's like, of course you were gonna give me the information. You're a rat.
of course. She's like, okay, yeah, kill them and burn the bodies.
I had a thought because she talked about burning the bodies.
Yeah.
In the last episode, we saw a pile of dead, burnt bodies. And I think that's the same group.
What I really liked is how they connect them finding Ellie and Joel, because they actually ride across the building where they crash into, and Henry like intentionally is gonna be like, "Ooh, this guy can help me." He sees everything through the window.
Sees
And
that skill. I loved that because it didn't end up just being a happenstance. It was like, no, he did this on purpose. I'm looking at my notes.
Yes, notes.
And I wrote down that Sam is wearing a Naughty Dog yellow sweatshirt.
Did you order your yellow t-shirt?
I forgot.
Erika, come on.
I'm sorry.
There's not many more episodes left, so
maybe I'll wear it for the finale.
There you go. I think the whole like, we're gonna need your help kind of thing is very good and very well done. I like Joe's reaction to the fact that Henry is a rat.
Like, whoa.
I felt like as soon as they said and put it up as their idea, because obviously spoilers, I guess, in the games you kind of just end up going into the tunnels, the sewers. Well, basically Harry comes up with the idea that we should go through the tunnels and then we can get out. So we didn't even get the Brits in.
I remember thinking about that because he looks towards the bridge.
He does.
He at least looks towards it. I was like, I know what's going to happen there. But then I totally forgot about it after that.
Yeah.
They tend to do that sometimes where they give you a little bit of something. I actually really did like that we didn't have the two parts of their story because, spoiler, in the game, Sam and Henry split from Joel and Ellie because the tank is after them. And they're like, we got to go. We can't stay and help you. So Sam and Henry kind of abandon them. But we come across them later and then we go through the sewer. It was a very necessary thing to cut out, I think, especially to make the friendship between Joel and Henry feel tighter as it went on.
I think this is where it starts to feel that this is a TV show. And you can put so many more things in a video game than in a TV show. And this is the first time where I'm like, Bill got his own episode. Henry and Sam Barry got anything. Let's be fair. Because they have so much more time in the game.
They have
so
a lot.
much more.
Which I hope the show encourages people to go and play the game. Yeah. So I hope most of you, if you're listening to this and you've not played the game, I really hope that the TV show is inspiring you to do so, because there's a lot more encounters, is what I'll call it. There's a lot more encounters, which are incredibly fun, that I understand why it's not in the show, but they are worth playing and experiencing.
You are much more forgiving than I am.
I tend to, so when I go into TV shows or movies, I tend to go in with the lowest of low expectations, because I personally just don't like feeling disappointed. So if I go into things expecting the bare ass minimum that it's a TV show, then I find that I won't be disheartened as much or disappointed, which is why I tend to be a little bit more forgiving, because it's like, hey, I at least got this. Even if I didn't get this, I got this.
Yeah.
Hence, last episode being a 10 out of 10 for me, because I'm easy to please.
It was obvious that even though this is a TV show and they have much more time to do things, there will still be a lot of things that will left out. And in itself, that's fine. And it's understandable. And I can even look past certain things. But I will put it this way. There was not just the encounters that you have in the game, but I think there was so much more in Henry and Sam in general.
That's a good point.
In the game.
Because of those encounters, you get an increased relationship with them, and then the twists.
Yep. Yep. And you know, because in the game, I think their part alone is like at least a good 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's the longest relationship, kind of
Yeah.
companionship in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
they basically, so what they did here, that was different from the game, and I think we can basically just skip the tunnels because Henry is right. There's nothing in the tunnels. They do find that people live there, and they do mention it.
Oh,
Uh,
Easter egg.
Easter egg.
Easter egg.
I think
Okay.
I noticed it as well, but I will let you say it.
There is a drawing on the wall of this guy kind of dressed in blue, which is Ish, who is the boat captain. That's one of my all-time favorite parts.
Yeah.
So Ish kind of starts his own almost like tiny little sewer family. And they accidentally let in a wrong somebody. They didn't follow the house rules that we got to see on the wall. They let somebody in. They got infected. Had to kill the children that were there. That hits hard. But I appreciate that nod to Ish and the whole potential story that's there. It was a very, very nice Easter egg.
But you know, the whole thing is just like, we're going to the tunnels and nothing happens in there. And last episode, what did we mention? There was such a good potential there to do something, again, horror stuff.
But they found the comic book.
They did find the comic book.
They did. Savage Starlight. Ellie says she has issues 4, 5, 6, and 11. And I want to go back and see if those are the issues that you find in the game up until that point. Probably. We get the famous, what we've been saying this whole time, endure and survive.
The whole thing in there is obviously very nice, very calm. We finally find out. Okay, pause. I'm praising it, but at the same time, I'm like, there's a change in there that I'm like, is why? We find out that Henry, you know, ratted out Caitlin's. I'm not gonna say her name anymore. It just annoys me. I always
boss.
have the boss's brother, Michael, because, and this is where I was like, excuse me.
Yeah.
What? Because Sam has leukemia? I was like,
oh, I sat there. I was like, well, that's new. How did they know it was leukemia?
Exactly.
And that to me felt a little out of left field. I feel like they could have done something a little less aggressive. Like, I would have understood if it was like antibiotics because, you know, he got hit, like, cut by a rusty nail.
How do you know it's dead? How can you use any kind of medicine for it? How do you have that kind of medicine for it? Like, you know, like even still today in 2023, it's one of the first freaking diseases that we have, and there's a very low survival rate on it. And it's very hard to
yeah, did he get cured?
Exactly. I was like,
wait a second.
Why did we need this? It's literally just one sentence and it's never brought up again, but it's still there.
Yeah, and yet that's where we're hung up the most is that one sentence because that's just what happens if it feels so out of place.
It did.
That's what we stick with. So I'm interested to see what other people who watch the episode make videos about it, see what they say, or if they just kind of overlook it and be like, it was just a thing, let's move on. So I'm interested to see what people in the comments are going to say, as well as other people who are going to make videos about this.
But then we get out of the tunnels unharmed. Nothing happens in there that's like dangerous or anything.
And just a character building moment.
It is. And then we get into basically to the immediately the next scene that happens in the game as well. And again, we're doing this during the night.
It made for what happens later a little bit more intense.
Yeah, sure, but I'm like, you know,
in my opinion,
it's already very intense in the game. Like, you know, the whole thing is like, very. It's play the game. Really, that's the message
Yeah.
here. Like, come on.
Because this next section was one of my favorite parts of the game.
Oh yeah. It,
Oh,
I was always fuming because of it, because I am just very bad at aiming, I guess.
I turn off auto aim. Like, that stuff sucks.
We get
Yeah.
a sniper, obviously.
Mhm. That was a
Uh,
cool little twist to the sniper, too. Explains why they had bad eyesight,
yeah, 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 yeah.
aiming.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Joel is going on his own mission to get
Yeah.
rid of the guy. Again, I'm just gonna be complaining. It's me.
You
What do you
see, we're
expect?
polar opposites. We have to have somebody complaining and having issues, and another one just happy to be there and loves everything. You can't have something with both. You have to have one or the other.
But the thing is, I do really much enjoy it. But at the same time, there are these little changes that they make that I'm like, why? And this is the same. Joel in the game would never hesitate to kill anyone. It doesn't matter if it's an old guy or whatever.
Yeah.
He would just shoot. And
Yeah.
here he
It's a
stops
threat to
and
his life.
yeah, and here he stops and he's like, please, please don't make me do this.
I was like, what do you think's gonna happen? I wonder if, probably not, but this makes me feel better.
Okay.
Is him knowing that the old guy is not gonna just walk away, but he would feel better killing somebody when they weren't defending themselves.
But
So
that's
when he picks up the gun and starts pointing towards him, he's like, okay, now I can kill you because I feel a little bit better about not killing an old man, you know.
but that's the whole point. That's my
I know.
problem.
That's TV show Joel. But in regards to how it reacts with game Joel, he should be murdering on sight at any given time.
But but this is why it's a problem,
I
because
know.
it's gonna have an effect on what's coming.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Uh,
said in one of the previous episodes that we recorded, that
mhm.
Joel is an asshole. Let's just
Yeah.
put it this way.
And they are making him a lot more.
He has so much more
He has
compassion.
more. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Compassion.
And I'm like, he was already a great character. Let's be fair. Despite being cold-blooded, despite being an asshole, basically,
He's a great character.
he's a very well-written character in the game.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind changes to his character if I wouldn't know what's the ending is. Because again, I'm not gonna say it. What he does in the end of the game is horrible. It's fucking awful. But
But I love it.
since he does it throughout the whole game, and you can kind of
It
expect him
checks out.
to, it checks out. It's like, of course, he's selfish, he's cold-blooded, he's whatever, and they are making him here a lot more like, is this the right thing to do? No, like, in the game he would go in,
Yeah.
shot, done.
And it's interesting because the end of the episode, just gonna jump there for just a brief second because it relates. The way that he looks at the graves, I feel like it can rekindle something in him because he opened himself up.
Mm.
It went wrong.
Mm.
It's gone. He kind of like looks at the graves with sheer determination that it's not going to be him and Ellie because he's terrified of that happening. So I kind of hope that that puts a bit of a fire under his ass.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway, still a great scene. Still, doing the whole what you would do in the game, going up to the sniper, taking care of it.
The look of concentration and just like,
Yeah.
on Pedro's face, that acting was one of my favorites. Just what he was just exuding.
I think he just watched a bunch of videos where gamers are like
concentrating. Like, it was perfect. It was perfect because I like, and it was really nice seeing it because in the game you only get the perspective of Joel.
Yeah.
And with this you get to see how it all is working as they're trying to make their way forward. And it was so nice just all of a sudden with the bullets flying past. I was like,
surprise, surprise, of course. Caitlin, Perry, and everyone is catching up with them. And I like the fact that Joel keeps missing until Ellie gets into trouble, and that's when he is able to hit through the window
It plants another seed of unhealthy
yes,
connection. Just
yeah,
plants another seed.
yeah.
And
But it's a cool moment. I like how Henry is not like leaving anyone behind, because in the game it happens. It's like, you know, I have to protect Sam, and that's all that
yeah,
matters. But here he goes back to get Ellie into safety,
that was a
and
wonderful moment.
it truly was. And then he is pleading to the boss lady, Melanie Linsky. I'm just gonna say her name, Melanie Linsky, to just please let the kids go. And this
Ooh.
is where I was like, I like that line, because she's not wrong. Kids die. You should have expected,
In the
because
game and in the TV show, have you ever seen another kid? Like, you barely see any kids. And it makes for what happens later very ironic.
it's very satisfying though. We're gonna get there in 1 second. But I like that. I like that sentence, because I think it's much more realistic in a situation like this.
Mm.
And I don't agree with her where she says that Harry should have just let it go. And
Yeah,
you know, I think if the roles were reversed, then she would have had to make a deal and save
she would have done it.
her brother somehow. She would have done it.
Yeah.
I mean,
But she's
she's
clearly
now
a broken person.
dead set on revenge and going after it. So come on.
That's
You
a familiar. That's a familiar thing, huh?
huh,
I think we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Revenge.
revenge. What a surprise.
Interesting.
Interesting. And then we finally, but no, we kind of get an
Yeah.
explanation to what the concrete was in the previous episode,
Mhm.
because after the car blows up, and they have this little standoff, and we get to the part where Melanie Linsky nearly kills Henry, the car suddenly starts to sink.
Mhm.
And I was like, ooh, finally,
It's
this
like,
is what
oh,
I've
we
been waiting
know.
for. It never happens in the game. I could just put it
Yeah.
out there. It's never in the game.
There's
Nothing
infected
like
that
this
are
happens,
there.
but
Like,
nothing
that
like
just
this happens in the
nothing.
game. Mm-mm. And I liked it. It's like,
I
oh,
did too.
I was like, oh, this is exciting. What
Oh,
I liked especially is that sinks into the ground. We hear the sounds first, and then they just fucking burst out of there, and I
oh
was like,
my gosh. It was incredible.
yes,
Oh, I
yes.
just I just sat there like pretty much just cheering. I mean, there's people watching it with me, but because I want to be too loud and obnoxious. But I was just like,
I know. I was like,
so
yes.
excited.
It's again. I'm gonna remind you again. I bet you didn't watch it yet, but you have to watch it. It was so much like Train to Busan.
Yeah.
So much like Train to Busan. I was like,
I it's the weekend and I'm planning on watching it. Like I said on the other one that I was planning on watching it, I plan on watching it this weekend.
I am so excited. I am so excited. I love Train to Busan, and this scene, especially as they burst out from that hole, I was like, oh my heart.
It was so
It
satisfying
was
because you kept hearing like obviously everybody's wondering like we did last week like there's no infected, there's no nothing. We're pissed about this.
exactly.
Well, now we know why is because they were shoved underground
Mm-hmm.
and forced down there and
that it's just killing from there on onwards. I didn't even know where to look. I was like, oh my god, what's happening? Like,
right? Chaos. I'll let you talk about it and then I'll do the Easter egg.
it's so sad. So the bloater comes up again. Why would you do this? Just it wasn't even paying attention to Perry and Melanie Linsky's character.
Until he started shooting.
I know. I was like, stop shooting! Stop shooting! Don't
I kept
shoot at
yelling,
him.
get fire!
Yeah, like just fuck off from there. Like they could have escaped. And then Perry fucking dies.
I've had this theory that I was like, okay, so, you know, I think I said it in one of the other episodes. I don't know if it made it in or not, but I was like, he's gonna live. We're gonna think we see him die. And so I said it again out loud as we were watching the episode. I'm like, we're gonna think we see him die, but it's gonna turn away. And then, oh no, he's dead.
He's dead.
The words left my mouth. Um, So in the video game, you get death animations when something happens. And when you get killed by a bloater, you get torn apart. Your face gets ripped off. And that's exactly how our boy Harry dies. Just like in the
It's
games.
so
I
brutal.
hated fighting the bloaters because I knew I was going to die at some point, and I'd have to see Joel's face just torn apart.
I literally texted Jeffrey and I was like, Barry, no! And Jeffrey laughed at me. It's not funny, Jeffrey. I have trauma now.
Jeffrey, you've given us PTSD. Thanks for bringing that death animation to life.
No. Why? Why would you do this? Why? I was so annoyed because it was again. I was annoyed, first of all, because I love Jeffrey. Jeffrey's great. I wanted to see more Jeffrey in there.
I wanted to see so much more.
So much more. But, second of all, it was a stupid way to die. Because literally, he had the chance to get away from there. He had the chance. You can't tell me otherwise. He had the fucking chance to flee away from there.
I wonder if his character was just like done. Like, honestly, I'm not surprised because most of the people that we've had cameos for have died real quickly.
Yeah.
And we know that's going to happen with Troy Baker's character because he's talked about it. That person's not going to last very long.
No.
So-and-so's not going to last very long. Anna, the mom, is not going to last very long. We know all these cameos aren't lasting very long.
Yeah.
And after I realized that, I was like, okay, well, now I'm not surprised. Because we know Jeffrey Pierce would steal the show.
Yeah.
So you have to kill him off or else Pedro's screwed.
Damn right.
Anyways,
let's, I have to talk to my therapist, but we can get past that now.
Yeah.
I really fucking loved Kid Stalker. Especially the way...
That was amazing.
She was introduced because Ellie is in the car. Very smart, Ellie. We like you. Ellie gets into a car, like, through a tiny little open window to hide from all the chaos and everything. And she doesn't notice it at first. And I loved how Joel got, like, you can see the fright in his eyes as he realizes that freaking stalker girl is getting into the car where Ellie is, and he tries so hard, and then once you realize it's a kid. Melanie Linsky just mentioned it. Kids die. Kids became infected as well, and I was like,
that's the first kid infected we've ever seen. Absolutely beautiful contortionist movement. It made it so much more terrifying.
I know, I was
and
like,
just the creep factor was leveled up.
I hate it.
And when Ellie gets out of the car and is like banging on the window, I was just like,
I was like, fuck off. Smaller is always scarier.
That is very true. That is very true.
I'm just gonna put it out there. And then Ellie saves Harry and Sam.
Well, she saves one of them technically.
Well, technically, but it's a cool scene.
It is.
She's
so
like,
wonderful.
Just goes into Terminator.
I was so freaking happy because that's what she does in the game to kill clickers.
Yeah.
Is she uses it, and she stabbed it in the side of the head. She stabbed it in the neck. And I was just cheering on Ellie the whole way. I was like, yes, well done, so Ellie. Excited.
Well done, Ellie.
We got that. Way to go, Bella.
We get into the most horrible scene I ever experienced in any video games, because it completely destroys me every single time. Yeah. It's heartbreaking. It's awful. That's why I think we didn't need that part about the whole leukemia and whatnot.
Yeah.
Their story was already very tragic.
Mm-hmm.
It was there. I like that they didn't leave out the whole Ellie bonding with Sam.
Because that was actually one of my concerns. I was like, okay, that's why in one of the episodes I was like, I hope like Ellie just like for some reason knows ASL so they can communicate together. But as soon as they brought out that drawing pad at the beginning, I was like, oh,
yeah,
Sam's gonna get to ask his questions.
Exactly. What difference here is that he actually shows the bite to Ellie.
I was actually kind of shocked that happened, but it was also really sweet because I think Ellie really did believe that her blood was going to cure him. The one thing that bothers me in every single movie when somebody needs blood, why on earth are you cutting the palm of your hand? That is the most used part of like your entire arms. It drives me insane. It first started bugging me in Pirates of the Caribbean. That's when it first started.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, you could just, like other places that like it's fine to have a cut and it'll heal. The palm of your hands, you're gonna be shooting lots of guns. You need to. So sorry, I've got to stop.
I love it.
Rant over.
No, I love it.
It is one of those movie things that drives me insane because it's dumb.
It's
I hate
fair.
it.
It's fair though. I love it. Like you're complaining. Look at you. You're
But
like me now.
Yeah. That drives me insane. But it was so sweet. Him just asking, "Will you stay awake with me?"
Mm.
I really, it's so nice when seeing things are almost picture perfect from the video games. And when we first see them get into this motel room, I was like, oh, I can see exactly where everything is going to happen. And that's almost exactly what it looks like in the games, right down to getting Ellie kind of pushed out of the room by Sam, Henry having the gun and shooting it at Joel, stopping him from getting his weapon, and just the way it was constructed was like the video game. And I know they did it on purpose to have it be like that, but it also gave players some PTSD.
Oh yeah.
From seeing it all happen again in live action, almost shot for shot perfect. And I'm trying really hard not to cry again. My eyes still
It's
actually
okay.
kind of hurt from crying.
I'm already teary-eyed, so
And
keep
I went
going.
into the episode going like, I know exactly what's gonna happen. I know how everything, I won't cry. I won't cry. I'll be totally fine. And as soon as he turns around and looks at Ellie and you can see it kind of on his face, I just broke down. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. And oh, it hurts because they've both opened themselves up to friendship,
Mm-hmm.
and Joel asked them to join them. And that's huge for him because he's usually kind of like this loner, protect yourself. But he, for the first time in the games too, he really opens himself up. And um it's now a consequence for opening yourself up. And it just how everything comes about and how terrifying it is. In the games, as soon as Henry kills Sam and then turns it on himself, you immediately cut to a different season,
Mm-hmm.
a new chapter in the game. I appreciated that it didn't do this here.
I think it will in the next episode.
It will in the next episode for sure. But it was so well done.
What makes it even more heartbreaking is the closing scene where Ellie just puts that freaking drawing.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
She's a kid.
Of course she's gonna believe that, I am immune. Maybe it's, my blood is gonna be thing that's gonna, and she wants
Yep.
to have so badly, like, she's even willing to cause herself pain, to hurt herself, and she truly believes. And that's why it's such a kid's innocence to go up to Sam
Innocence. Yes.
and thinking that it worked, and he's just sitting there enjoying the sunshine. It's not.
Nope.
It's not, and it's not how it works. And well,
It definitely took a lot of her innocence
oh yeah,
that night,
this is
day,
definitely
morning.
the first time Ellie breaks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not the first time, but the first time.
This is probably the second most important, like, at least same age group relationship as her, other than Riley.
Anyway, let's do episode ranking.
I think I'm actually going to kind of go with some of Nick's logic from the last one and go with like a video game adaptation comparison rating this time, which I think I would give it more of like an 8 out of 10 because we got a lot of nods to things that happen in the game and that I really appreciated that weren't like totally looked over, but they were like acknowledging, hey, Joel's going to look back at the bridge. We know what happens there. We're not going to be able to do it, but we acknowledge it. And the whole sniping situation being one of my favorite parts of the game was so well done. I really enjoyed it. And I almost want to give it a 7 out of 10 because they killed Perry, but I won't. I'm going to not be petty. But that's where I'll keep it. It's like an 8 out of 10. It's emotionally racking.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
We loved
it. Hurt me, Neil Druckmann.
Hurt me.
Don't take that out of context.
It's like Joker in the Dark Knight. Hurt me.
Yeah. Yes.
Same. To be fair, I would say the same. Henry and Sam was my favorite part, as much as it was heartbreaking in the game. I did love them so much, and I will still hold myself to that. I don't think they were able to do full justice to their story. I still think that there were things that were needed, the one we talked about. But altogether, it was still a wonderfully done episode. We finally got it reflected, and I was like, oh, finally, okay. It's actually it was very cool.
It was like and it was satisfying.
It's very bad to say that, but it was satisfying. Just a bunch of people dying. Yeah.
Right, it's wrong, but wrong, like,
but come on.
We're not good people.
No. Yes, we are. Come on.
Despite how cute we are.
So cute. with our, just crying and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just wonderful.
Cool.
But 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Perfect. Look at us agreeing.
There you go.
I love it. Look
it's well done. Well done, us.
Yeah.
All right. Do the promo stuff.
All right. Let's do some promos. You are watching this on CouchSoup. Did you know that? If you look at I think from here it'll be like bottom right something. It'll be CouchSoup. And we do some really cool things there. If you are a member though, you get early access to our faces. And there's a couple other projects coming down the pipeline you'll get early access to and exclusive access to. As well as being a member, you get Zoom calls and some cool things where we just kind of hang out as a community. Nolan and Drew and PJ and all those other guys have built and allowed us to build this amazing community together. And we want more of you to come join us. So let's all cry together over The Last of Us together. Come join us over at couchsoup.com/membership.
Yes, please do that. Or here on YouTube.
Or don't. That was impulsive.
Yeah. I love it though. Whatever you feel like doing, you're gonna find us, here.
We appreciate you either way.
Exactly. You're gonna find us on CouchSoup, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listen to
all the things.
We're everywhere. And for now, take care and enjoy and survive.
Enjoy and survive.